Hey, Shalom, Micah, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and that's still teaching this truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp. I'm coming back today with another lesson, and I pray this lesson will be edifying to the elect. And I want to do a continuation on the book of Micah. As you guys know, I did Micah the first chapter as well as Micah the second chapter. So this is just a continuation of Micah the third chapter. All right, and as you see, the title, whenever you read this chapter, is titled "Rulers Denounced." And man, this chapter is really a chapter on Micah just cursing out, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, the leadership of Israel. You had kings and rulers and princes of Israel that was doing extremely wickedly, pretty much oppressing their own people. You had the false prophets that were set up teaching lies, and you have the same thing, that's going on today, of these various different groups that are teaching wayward doctrines, doing things that are unseemly, and our job as prophets of Yahweh Shai is to denounce these things, So like I said, I'm gonna go through the third chapter. Lord willing, it's not too long, but I do want to, I do have some precepts that I want to get, through this chapter, and Lord willing, it's edifying. So this is Micah chapter 3 verse 1. It says, "And I said, Hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment?" And that's a question. The scripture says, let me get it real quick. In the book of Malachi, it says that that the priest's lips should know knowledge. Let's see. Yep. This is Malachi chapter 2 verse 7. It says, "For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth." You see, so us being priests of Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, being priests of the order of Melchizedek, all right, our mouths, all right, should keep knowledge, man. And knowledge of what? All right, knowledge of Yahweh Shai, the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, these the precepts, It says, "For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of Yahweh of hosts." You see? So we're messengers of Yahweh Shai. So the message that we're speaking isn't our own words. It's not words that we made up. But you have Israelite camps who who hear the message of the MOTB, and they'll say that that's not the RFID microchip, But ultimately, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the reason as to why they can't receive it or get it is because they're spiritually discerned, as the scripture says. All right. So it says that it says, "Ye princes and ye rulers of the house of Israel." And when you get this word princes, that word is quatazayan. All right, quatazayan. And you see up here, it says more generally, ruler, man in authority. So this is definitely going to the authority, the authorities, I rather say, of Israel. All right, and that word judgment is mashapat. Like you have shapat, which is like pretty much the judgment of, it's pretty much the act of the judgment. That's what the shapat is. But mashapat is judgment or justice. We're supposed to be out there, warning our people of what's to come. Not using this truth, for monetary gain, that you have some Israelites that like to do, making merchandise of the truth. No, man, that's not what we've been called to do. You see? All right, so let's get Ezekiel, the 22nd chapter, real quick. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 22. Let's see where we want to start here. Yeah, let's start at verse 23. This is Ezekiel 22 verse 23. It says, "And the word of Yahweh, in the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto her, Thou art the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation." You see, and remember, the people make up the place. All right. Remember, the scripture says, "Put on thy garments, O Jerusalem, It's not talking about the actual city of Jerusalem. It's talking about the people. So it says that the land is not cleansed. You see? And the only ones that are going to be cleansed truly, let me get a precept on that. The only ones that are going to be truly cleansed, if you will, are going to be the elect of the nation of Israel on this side. Now, ultimately, all right, all Israel will be saved and will be made righteous, but it begins with the creme de la creme of the nation of Israel, which is the elect, all right? This is Zechariah, all right, chapter 13, verse 1. It says, in that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. You see? So it says that a fountain would be opened unto who specifically? The house of David. All right, and that fountain is the fountain of truth. Remember, Yahweh Shah said, he that believeth upon me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow what? Shall flow rivers of living water. You see, and that's how the elect in these last days are being cleansed through this word. The scripture says, wherewith shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto unto thy word. You see? Just bear with me one moment here. All right, Salaki for that. I had to put some gas in my car real quick. But yeah, you know, so the land is not cleansed. And that's also too why you see, you know, most of our people out here acting like complete idiots and fools, man. You know, two-thirds of Jake out here in America, the black man, the so-called black, Latino, Native American man and woman, you know, acting like complete buffoons, man. It's because ultimately they haven't been cleansed. You see, they haven't been awoken to this knowledge. Right? So let's read verse 24 again. It says, son of man, say unto her, thou art the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation. It says, there is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof. And what does the word conspiracy mean? Let's get that word here in the Hebrew. You know, you got people that like to say that we're quote unquote conspiracy theorists. Well, let's get the word conspiracy, right? This word conspiracy in the Hebrew, right, goes to the word quashar. It says conspiracy, treason, unlawful alliance. You see, an unlawful alliance. All right. So let's go down here. It says conspiracy. It says conspiracy. And when you really get that word conspiracy, con meaning with, and then spiracy or spire means to breathe. So literally it just means to breathe together. You see, or you have like two or more people that are gathered together for evil, you know, but conspiracy literally just means to breathe together. That's what the word means. All right. See if there's a root. Yeah. So let's get the root. It says to bind, tie, bind together, league together. That's what the word conspiracy or conspire means. So it's not necessarily anything that's like, you know, like negative or anything like that. Right. Now it can be used for negative purposes. Absolutely. You know, but it just means to be in league together. It says there is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. And who's the prey? All right, the prey is the people. All right. It says they have devoured souls. You see? And how are they devouring souls, man? They're devouring souls with these wayward doctrines, man. You know, you can have sex on the Sabbath. The new moon is the full moon. The full moon's the new moon. The MOTB is sin. Or, you know, sleeping with white women. You know what I'm saying? All these various different things, man. And the scripture says that they would heap to themselves, that the people would heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, man. And the itching ears goes into all these various different ways of teaching and philosophy that's being taught by these false prophets, man, which Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah is going to ultimately judge. It says like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure. They have taken the treasure and precious things. And what's some of that treasure? The treasure is what? The money. You see, because a lot of these individuals are money hungry, man. And they're greedy. They're covetous. You see, it says they have made her many widows in the midst thereof. It says her priests have violated my law. Now we just read in Micah that the priest's lips should keep knowledge. Why? Because they're the messenger of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So it says her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. You see, holy means to be set apart, and profane means what? When you get that word in the Latin, profanus means outside of the temple. So they don't separate the things that are to be holy to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and the things that are and the things that are to be separate from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Once again, what's one thing? What's one example? IUIC teaching that you can have sex on the Sabbath. That's completely profane, man. But these are the guys that are quoting. These are guys that are the law of this, the law of that, the law. The laws are what can only save you. But they don't keep the law. It says they have put no difference between the holy and profane, neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths. Woo! And I am profaned among them. You see that? Boom, right there. It says they have hid their eyes from my Sabbath. You see, and the Sabbath is the Sabbath is important. Very important, man. And we do to the best of our ability. We try not to break it. Now, of course, we're in captivity, and some of us may have to go to work on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be. But we're not openly just breaking the Sabbath just to do it, just to fulfill our own lust. Like it says in Isaiah in Isaiah the 58th chapter, you're supposed to refrain your foot from your own pleasure. All right, verse 27, it says, her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. See, that's why they got to have the Passover extravaganzas. You got to pay X amount of dollars, in order to attend this Passover. You got to get your tickets now. Like it smelled like a damn URL smack video, man. That one, promoting the next battle rap that's gonna be happening. You got to get your ticket. You got to get your specific garment from your specific garment. You got to get a hotel room. You got to pay X amount of dollars. It's complete madness, man. The scripture says, buy the truth and sell it not. Okay? That word dishonest gain, all right, is batazai. Okay? That word is batazai. And it says here, gain made by violence, more generally, unjust gain. See? Selling Hebrew Israelite t-shirts, selling, once again, you had, you had the Sakari, individuals in the Sakari that was, selling, selling prayers and, selling Hebrew names and things of that nature. Making this ministry about music. Are we gonna marry this brother off to this? We gonna marry this brother off to this sister. Attend the wedding. But everything's about money, man. And that's why these, so-called Israelite leaders have been made rich. Due to the ignorance of Jake, man. You see, beginning with our apostles, bishops, and elders on down, man, we've given this truth unto you, directly and freely. You don't got to go to our pages, and you don't got to go to our pages and subscribe and hit the money icon in order to get a breakdown. No, man. You see, we give you this truth. We give you this truth raw and direct, as we're commanded to do, as we were freely given it. You see, Micah chapter 3 verse 2, it says, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bones. And how they doing that? By feeding them these lies, man. Remember, in Ezekiel 37, this truth is supposed to gather the skin back on you, man. The sinews and everything is supposed to gather that back on you. You see? But they're plucking the skin off. Just like you're getting ready to make some food, and you cleaning the meat or whatever the case may be. Just like in the ancient world, if you had a chicken, you had to pluck the feathers off and things of that nature. So it says, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bones, just like a wolf would do. It says, who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them and break their bones and chop them in pieces, as for the pot and as flesh within the cauldron. You see, fattening them up. You pretty much making a meal off of the people, man. You see, and they love, and our people love to have it so. Okay, remember Yahweh Shai mentioned it. He said to himself, he said, "Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing." You know, those that are making merchandise of you, and you have a lot of insincere Israelites out there doing that, man. You do have those, who are sincerely wrong, and they truly believe that they're following the right group, and they're sincerely wrong. But you have others that are just sincerely just assholes, man. Some sincerely demons. This is Psalm 14, and they know that they're teaching, and they know that they're teaching a lie. They're hirelings. Okay? Remember, the scriptures can't be broken. This is Psalm 14:4. It says, "Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon Yahweh?" You see? Calling on Most High in Christ, blessing Jesus. You see? It says that who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord, man. You see? Let's get another one. Let's get Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel chapter 11. And let's start at verse 1. It says, Moreover, the Spirit lifted me up and brought me unto the east gate of Yahweh's house, which looketh eastward. So he's at the temple, right? And behold, at the door of the gate 25 men, among whom I saw Jazaniah the son of Azur, and Pelatiah the son of Benaiah, the princes of the people. So this is the leadership. All right. It says, Then said he unto me, Son of man, these are the men that devise mischief and give wicked counsel in this city. You see, so Ezekiel was sent to curse out the leadership of Israel. He said, these are the men that devise mischief and give wicked counsel in this city. You see, and you got the same thing going on today. You got all kinds of mischief and wicked counsel that's being given, man. You see, it says, which say, it is not near. What is not near? The day of Yahweh B'Shem Shah returning. It's not near, right? Let us build houses. We're going to go over here. We're going to go, 12 tribes worldwide. We're going to go here. We got to preach the gospel over here. We got to preach it there. We got to get on the plane and teach it over here. It says, which say, it is not near. Let us build houses. This city is the cauldron, and we be the flesh. You see that? So they feel like as if they're good. They feel as if they're secure in this place, man. You see, no evil will touch them as they think. You see, this city is the cauldron, and we be the flesh. We're protected in this metal pot. We're going to be safe in this meat pot. But eventually, you could have that meat in the pot, getting it all prepped and thinking that you good. But eventually, it has to start boiling to cook. You see, and Yahweh B'Shem Shai is getting ready to cook Jake, man. Verse 4 says, Therefore prophesy against them, prophesy, O son of man. You see, and we're to prophesy against these people, man. We're not to be prophesying with them. We're supposed to be prophesying against them. So when you hear that message, man, how come you got GMS is always getting on these camps? How come it's always Elder Menat Zakba? It's always Menat Zakba of South Carolina. He's always getting on something. Well, it's the spirit. Hey, the spirit is on us to rebuke and reprove, as the scripture says we're to do. You see, it's the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Shai ultimately on us to do that. Because Jake be going off. Hell, we get on our own selves, man. We get on our own house. You see? Verse 5, it says, And the spirit of Yahweh fell upon me, and said unto me, Speak, thus saith Yahweh. You see, thus saith Yahweh B'Shem Shai, right? It says, Thus have ye said, O house of Israel, for I know the things that come into your mind, every one of them. You see, so the Lord knows what you're thinking. The Lord knows the things that you're thinking and devising and planning. You see, he knows the evil bullshit that you be saying, scoffing. The Lord knows. He hears it. You see, as a matter of fact, there's a precept in the Apocrypha on that. It says I think it's the ear of jealousy, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, ear of jealousy. Jealousy. I think that's how it goes. Yep. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse, we'll start at verse 9. It says, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly. And there's a lot of inquisition is an investigation. So there's an investigation made into the counsels of the ungodly. All right, beginning with the Edomites, and their wicked counsels that they're devising, while they work evil upon their beds, all these various different meetings and things of that nature that they having. But also too, it goes into the wicked counsels of these of Jake, man. You see, all these little backhand, these backhand deals that they've made, So it says, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly. It says, and the sound of his words shall come unto the Lord for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. You see? Let's read that again. It says, and the sound of his words. There's not a word that's hidden that's not going to be revealed, man. And that's why you have a lot of these counsels of these individuals who are being made known and being revealed in these last days, man. Look at Alazar, the former head of Sakari, man. His counsel was revealed. It was an inquisition made into him through the Spirit, and he got revealed, man. You see, remember, the Yahweh Shah said it. There's nothing that's done in the dark that's not going to come to light. Nothing. Okay. Spare with me 1 second. Let me just park this vehicle real quick. All right, verse 10. It says, for the ear of jealousy heareth all things. You see that? Yahweh Bashem Shai hears all things, man. Hey, 144, call hello Yahweh Bashem Shai. It says, and the noise of murmurings is not hid. You see that? So all murmuring and backbiting and all that madness, man. Hey, it's being recorded by Yahweh Bashem Shai, man, via the angels. You see? Verse 6, back in Ezekiel, it says, ye have multiplied your slain in this city, and ye have filled the streets thereof with the slain. And is it actually going into them killing people? Hey, you know what? Possibly. And I say that for a reason. But nah, man, it's really going into Jake being dead from the neck up. Remember, the scripture says that he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in what? The congregation of the dead. It's also written that what? Their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And the only ones that are going to be revived and being made alive again is going to be the elect, via the 100% truth. You see? Back in Micah. All right, let's go back to Micah here. Micah chapter 3. All right, verse 4. It says, then shall they cry unto Yahweh, but he will not hear them. You see? So when they think that they're going to be safe and they're going to be good, that's when all hell going to break loose. And that's when they're going to try to call upon the Lord, but it's going to be too late. It says, then shall they cry unto Yahweh, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. You see that? So as you were doing your wicked practices, playing games with Yahweh Bashem Shai, thinking that the Lord is with you, and thinking that you're gonna be delivered, man, you're gonna cry unto the Lord, and he's not gonna respond to you, man. We'll see if all that crying to you, Most High in Christ blessing that day is gonna work. You see? Because while Bishop Nathaniel is telling you that we don't know the names of the Lord and he's going to give us his new name in the kingdom, I guarantee you when all hell breaks loose, he's going to be calling upon Yahweh Bashem Shai. He ain't going to be calling on no goddamn Jesus Christ, man. You see, and that's a fearful thing, man. It tells you, and that goes back to one of the foundational scriptures that you really learn when you come into this thing, man. Proverbs, the first chapter. Proverbs chapter 1, just getting straight to the point, verse 28. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. You see, and that's going to go ultimately into what? The famine of the word. You see, Yahweh Bashem Shai, all right, removing his prophets from the streets, removing these videos from off of YouTube, off of Instagram, off of TikTok, off of social media, period. And you're not going to know, and you're not going to be able to hear the truth, man. You see, they're going to pass a law, whereas this is going to be completely banned. And that's when evils are going to grow on this. That's when evils are going to grow on this earth exponentially, especially here in Babylon, the Great America. You see? It says, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. Man, bro, it's like the car that had 144 left, and then another car pulled in, it was 144 behind it. Hey, that's the spirit, man. Call Hello Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Call Hello Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Remember, the scripture says in the book of Isaiah, it says that when you spread your hands forth unto me, I will not hear you. He's like, I'm tired of your vain, I'm tired of your vain oblations and your wicked assemblies. I'm tired of it. And Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is tired of it, man. You see, so he's gonna bring an evil that's not, as it says in Jeremiah the 11th chapter, man. He said, I'm gonna bring an evil upon you that you shall not be able to escape. See? And that's what? That's gonna be Jacob's trouble. A time that the world has never seen or never witnessed on the planet Earth, man. All right, verse 5, back in Micah 3. It says, thus saith Yahweh concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry, peace. And he that putteth not into their mouths, they even prepare war against him. You see, so if you give, these false prophets money, and you give them gain, and you make their profit, and you make their pockets good, they'll give you a good message. But if you don't support them, they'll try to make war against you, man. You see, just like that one Jake that that left the IUIC. I think his name was the Titus or something like that. But that one Jake that left the IUIC. They pretty much damn near killed that guy, man. Beat him up, pretty much beat the hell out of him, man. Damn near to almost to death. But the spirit had it to rise. He didn't get put to death, and he was able to speak out against it, letting you know these evil guys' wicked deeds, man. All the wickedness that they be doing, man. But these are the same individuals that swear up and down that they keeping the laws, man. Same ones. You see, it's complete madness, man. Their pockets is being filled up, so they'll tell you a feel-good message, man. Jacob's trouble's gay. There ain't gonna be no Jacob's trouble. If you would have listened closely, you morons, all this bullshit, man. See, these Jakes be forgetting. They be forgetting that they say these things on YouTube, like it's not recorded. Like Elder Apostle Tahar did a video yesterday of the IURC saying that hell was a condition, but now they teaching that hell is an actual place where you burn. Like, do y'all not remember that y'all recording these videos on YouTube? You ain't think to take the video down? It's crazy, man. Isaiah 56 verse 10. All right, it says, his watchmen are blind. Who's watchmen? The watchmen of these false prophets, they're blind, right? It says they are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. You see, in the whole meaning of having a dog is so that if there's any kind of danger coming, they will alert you by way of barking, warning you of what's getting ready to come. It says they cannot bark. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. And why are they loving to slumber? Why are they sleeping and lying down and chilling? Because ultimately they're at ease. Woe unto them that are at ease in Zion, as it says in Amos 6, all right? Verse 11, it says, yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. That's why they can't understand the breakdown of the MOTB. You see? That's why they can't truly break. That's why they truly don't understand these breakdowns. Revelation 20 is talking about, Magog, God coming back up and trying to make war against us, even though we're going to have spiritual bodies, They're going to do a surprise attack on us. That's why the scripture says, he that hath wisdom, let him count the number of the beast. People can't even really break down the beast correctly, man. And various other scriptures. It says they all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. You see, everybody's looking to their own gain, man. You see, that's what Jacob's worried about. How much can they profit and gain from the people? They're not really truly worried about the affliction of Joseph, man. They're not really truly worried about teaching the truth. They are definitely they'll teach a lie though. Okay. Isaiah 29. All right, Isaiah chapter 29, verse 10. It says, start of verse 9. It says, stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. Right? I want to say when you get cry ye out, I want to say that word means to be blind, if I'm not mistaken. It says cry ye out is a shy eye. All right, shy eye. It says let's see. Sport, take delight in delight. Hold on. Yeah, you see, blind yourselves and be blind. You see, that's what it means. Cry ye out and cry. Cry ye out and cry. It means to blind you. It says blind yourselves and be blind. You know? And there's an angel that Yahweh Basham Shah sends out to blind the eyes of these individuals, man. Isaiah the 6th chapter tells you that, right? It says, stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. You see, so they're spiritually drunk. You see? It says, for Yahweh, right? For Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep and hath closed your eyes. You see that? And that spirit of deep sleep is not understanding these breakdowns correctly. It says, the prophets and your rulers, the seers, the prophets, hath he covered. You see? In the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that are sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. Right? It says, and he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. You see? And you got Jake that's just winging it out here, man. You see, as it says here in NLT, all the future events in this vision are like a sealed book to them. You see, when you give it to those who can read, they will say, we can't read it because it is sealed. Hey, but the scriptures tell you that what? That the seals have been loosed. You see, Yahweh Shai loosed. It was loose for a period of time when you read in Daniel 12, but the seals have been loosed. You see, verse 12, it says, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. I don't know. You see, and a lot of these Jakes truly don't know. They really, really don't know. You see, they truly don't know or get it, and it's going to be to their destruction, man. Okay, so going back to Micah 3, verse 6, it says, therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision. See that? So when these shipping stations get set up, that's when it's going to be night unto you, man. That's when the prophecy, all right, is when because the prophecy speaking, man. Remember the scripture says that at the end it shall speak and not lie. So it says, therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision. It says, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine. You're not going to know. You see, the scripture says that what? That they're going to be groping at noonday. It says, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. You see, they're not going to be able to see what direction to go in, man. As a matter of fact, let's get Isaiah the 8th chapter real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, right? To the law and to the testimony. What's the testimony of Yahweh Shah? The spirit of prophecy, right? And to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. You see, you're supposed to be illuminated. You're supposed to be illuminated via this word, man. Remember, the scripture says that the law is a lamp. So when you read this word, when you read this word, it's supposed to enlighten you, man. Yahweh Shah said it himself, ye are a light that cannot be hid, man. You see, you're supposed to be illuminated mentally. That's what this word does, man. It says it is because there is no light in them, and they shall pass through it, hardly be stead and hungry. You see, hard pressed. Those that did not take heed to this message, man, hard and troubling times are going to come upon you, man. It says hardly be stead and hungry. Remember, the scripture says that what? My servants shall eat. You see, my servants shall drink. But those that have played with this word that's been given unto them, you're not going to eat in that day. You're not going to drink in that day. The Lord gonna have it to whereas you're going to starve, man. You know? Whereas you're going to eat your children. You know? You're going to be out here with strong delusions on you, man. It says, and it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves, be angry, and curse their king and their power, and look upward. You see? Cursing out Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, like that one Jake that was crashing out, that the Elder Apostle Tahar did a response video from to Elder Menatazak Ba. You know, that Jake was crashing out all on YouTube, and he was a former pastor. And he was losing his damn mind. You see? Cursing out the king, looking upward, right? And they shall look unto the earth, and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish. You see, because that's what's coming, man. Troubling times and dark times is coming, man. Remember the scripture says what? Gross darkness to people, and they shall be driven to darkness. They're not going to have no vision or nowhere to go. They're not going to know what to do. You're going to have individuals of the congregation hitting them up, asking them what to do. Where do we need to go? What do we need to do here? And it's going to be too late. They're not going to have any answers, man. And you're going to have individuals of their congregations that are going to be putting some of y'all to death too. You see? That's why it's important and it's imperative to get this word now, man. You see, and when you read the scriptures, man, it's always a message that's against a false. It's always opposition. Everybody, how come our Israel just can't get along? Can't we all just get along? Inside joke, you know? No, man, that's not what Yahweh Bashem Yahshua called for in this time. Now, granted, all Israel is going to get along in the kingdom, but there has to be divisions. There's going to be somebody that's going to be teaching a lie, which is going to be mass majority of the people, and it's going to be a small, very, 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 very small remnant that's going to be telling you the truth, and they're going to be attacked. They're going to be the main ones that's going to be attacked. The ones telling you the truth. Verse 7, it says, then shall the seers be ashamed and the diviners confounded. See that? All the prophecies that you was quote unquote prophesying. You know, if the mark of the beast is the microchip, maybe my dog can give me some lamb. You know? Calling us conspiracy nuts. All this madness, man. We gonna see how it's gonna be in that time. You see? It says, then shall the seers be ashamed and the diviners confounded. It says, yea, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer of the Most High. You see that? There's no answer of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. They're not gonna have, you don't have the answers, Sway. They're not gonna have the answers. Let's get that word answer real quick. It's gonna be like a response. You see? That word answer is ma'ana. Ma'aina. You see? And that word answer here says, i.e. response for guidance. You see, they're not going to know what to do. Remember, what does the scripture say? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and strength of salvation, and the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh is treasure. So they're not going to have any response to know what to do and know what direction to go in. They're going to be perplexed. You see? Verse 8, it says, but truly I am full of power by the spirit of Yahweh and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression and to Israel his sin. You see, that's what this message goes to, man. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sin. And we're full of the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua to do that, man. Whether people like it or fucking not, man. Excuse my language, man, but we don't give a damn if you don't like it. If you don't like, we don't like the way the message came out, man. You saying it too rough. Well, get your whole ass on this somewhere, man. Man up. You see? Verse 9, right? It says, hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment, that hate judgment, and pervert all equity. You see, and they twist what is right. You see, they don't separate between the holy and the profane. It says they build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. You see, I'm talking about promoting, and they promote. These are the same individuals that promote the law, but they promote wickedness from it, man. They're not from the law. They promote wickedness. You see, the heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire. You see that? And the prophets thereof divine for money. And it keeps saying this over and over and over and over again, man. You see? As long as their pockets are being filled up, that's all that they care about. It says, yet will they lean upon Yahweh and say, is not Yahweh among us? None evil can come upon us. You know, Yahweh, hey, the Lord is with us. Look at our congregation. Look how many members we have. The Lord is with us. Like it says in that's Jeremiah 7, he said the temple of the Lord is here. You know? It says, verse 12, it says, therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest. And pretty much initially, you know, what came to pass in Jerusalem was that the Babylonians came and jacked Jacob. You see? For their wickedness. And it began at what? It began at the leadership, man. It began at those who were quote unquote leaders in Israel. Judgment ultimately came. All right. So I pray this lesson was edifying. This is Micah the third installment of the book of Micah. This is chapter 3. I pray this was edifying to the elect of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai, B'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and that's what teaching his truth. Much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.